Well, good day, my friends. Today we are at Gate of Heaven Cemetery in East Hanover, New Jersey. And if you're reading my mind, you know who we're here to see. Daze with Jordan the Lion and you all. It begins right now. It's crazy. I'm friends with Catherine Hickland, who's a mentalist. And one day I just happened to randomly mention how much I loved always seeing the amazing Kreskin on the David Letterman show. And she said, "Oh, he is such a sweet guy. He is just the best." I said, "You know Kreskin?" She, "Oh yeah, very well." She said, "He's not doing well right now. He's very ill." And when she said that, I was like, oh man, you know what? I had seen online he used to sign autographs through the mail, so I sent something and never got a response or anything. And then maybe 4 months later, I heard he was in hospice, and I didn't know that he was buried out here in East Hanover, New Jersey. I was actually coming out to see Yogi Berra, who is also buried over here. But as I was parking my car, I noticed that the amazing Kreskin is buried here. So I wanted to come pay my respects because he was so entertaining. He literally was amazing. It says on there, in loving memory, George and Lucy, Craig's parents, and Joseph, Craig's brother. Even now, I know what you're thinking. It says, January 12th, 1935 to December 10th, 2024. So sad. He had a nice long life, but boy, was he entertaining. Oh my gosh. When he would always do, he did such great tricks, and well, he had his own thing. Let's just say that. And David Letterman, every time he would have Kreskin on, he would always try and ruin it. He would always, kind of mock Kreskin, kind of make fun of him, kind of in a weird way, kind of the same thing he would do with Richard Simmons. But I think it actually endeared Kreskin to a lot more people. I think it opened his world, or the people that never had heard of him, through David Letterman. I think they all became kind of fans or were interested in Kreskin.
We'd like to have you on once a week. Can you do that? Now, let me ask you a serious question. Now, are you...
What did we miss,
I don't
David?
know. Reader?
No, I'm a thought reader. I perceive people's thoughts.
So you have extra sensory...
some kind of a high
abilities.
sensitivity.
It's not what you're doing here. It's not magic. It's
not
something...
not sleight of hand, no. It has to do with concentration. It has to do with psychology. It has to do with perceiving thoughts and what have you.
It's not props. It's not bunnies and hats.
No bunnies and hats.
Okay. Kreskin actually grew up here in Montclair, New Jersey, with Joseph being his only brother. They were Polish Americans, and he actually attended Seton Hall and got a degree in psychology. And even though he would do mentalism and everything, he practiced psychology while he was working on the act that we would know him for. He never ever called himself a psychic, though. He always called himself a mentalist. So around 1970, he started figuring out this act, and from 1972 to 75, Kreskin had his own television show called The Amazing Kreskin, or The Amazing World of Kreskin. It was on the Canadian CTV, and it was eventually on here in America, but his first television appearance was on the Steve Allen Show. He was on there about 100 times. He was also on the Mike Douglas Show, the Merv Griffin Show 88 times, on the Johnny Carson Show, the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. Carson was the one who called him the Amazing Kreskin. He used to just go by Kreskin. He claimed that his first appearance was the Steve Allen Show, where he tripped when he was blinded by stage lights. And Johnny Carson would say that's what inspired him to do Carmack the Magnificent. I just noticed they put his glasses on there as well. He said that he was inspired to be a mentalist because of the comic strip Mandrake the Magician. Almost every show that would have the amazing Kreskin on would end up having him on like almost 100 times. Like, he was always on Regis and Kathy Lee, he was always on Howard Stern, he was always on David Letterman. He just became a mainstay, and he would make a lot of predictions. He, like I said, he never called himself a psychic or anything like that, but he would always try and kind of do things that would puzzle the audience, or things that were out of the ordinary. Like, well, he had a thing he would do with his paycheck. So what he would do is he would hide his paycheck. He would tell the audience that he didn't get paid if he couldn't find his check. So he would put his check inside of an envelope. He would then be escorted off stage. It would be hidden in the crowd somewhere, and then he would come back in and he would hunt through the audience, and eventually, you know, through questions or whatever other method he had, he would eventually find the check.
Do you work with Confederates or stooges?
No, I offer $50,000 to anyone who can prove that I employ paid assistants of Confederates, and I offer my check if I can't find my check.
Yeah, they hide your check, and if you can't find it, you do the gig free.
Yeah, I lost in New Zealand a few weeks ago, $51,000.
Is that right?
Couldn't find it. Couldn't get any impression, couldn't think, and that's the 9th time. If I fail a 10th time, no more check.
Okay.
Kreskin also used to use his techniques and teach them to law enforcement. He said that it would help them kind of recover information that might have been lost. He would teach them the psychological methods, such as jogging lost memories through relaxation techniques, or detecting lies through body language and voice inflections, which I know a couple of mentalists, and they say really that's how they do mentalism. It really all comes down to the person that they're trying to do the mentalism on. They go off of reactions, instincts, things, different behavior. When they say something, the way someone will react. So he apparently was using that to teach the law enforcement. I haven't seen anywhere noted where the law enforcement credits him or says that they use that technique or anything like that, but I can see how that would come in handy in law enforcement. So Kreskin performed from the 70s pretty much solidly all the way up until like a couple of months before he died. So he was performing all the way up into 2023. Apparently he ended up taking a fall while he was performing and hurt himself, and then they found out that he had dementia, and he ended up being treated for dementia and died in hospice care. He was never married, never had any children, so that explains why the headstone there is from his parents and his brother. So in 2002, Kreskin made a prediction that there would be a UFO sighting over Las Vegas between June 6th on the hours of 9:45 and midnight, and that it would be witnessed by thousands of people. He also said that if there were no sighting, he would donate $50,000 to charity. Hundreds of people camped out that evening, yet no one saw anything. And on June 8th, Kreskin appeared in the opening segment of Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell and said over the air that the sighting prediction was a total fabrication in order to prove people's susceptibility to suggestions post 9/11. Kreskin claimed he was concerned that a terrorist that had skills like his in mentalism could pull off a similar stunt involving something much worse. He stated that the prediction sighting was only an experiment, and when he was asked about the $50,000 donation he previously promoted, he claimed that there was indeed a sighting that night, since he had said glowing green orbs were supposedly spotted in the sky just before midnight, reported by witnesses after news cameras had already left the scene. So because one person said they saw it, he claimed that his prediction came true, and so he said that he didn't have to pay the money. Art Bell apparently was insulted by this and banned Kreskin from his show, which was sad because I loved both of them. I loved Kreskin, I loved Art Bell, and I even liked George Norrie for the first couple of years when he took over Coast to Coast. That's a show, you know, I know people like to hoax people and everything, but there's truth to both sides. You know, on Art Bell's side, it's like, I don't want people out here, you know, making a false offer if they're wrong and then not holding up to it. But if Kreskin was true in what he was saying, that he was trying to prove that someone that had his mentalism could indeed trick an entire country or get a bunch of people to fall for it, that is worth noting that that's something we should be aware of and be a little bit scared of. Well, my friends, I hope you enjoyed getting to pay our respects to the great, the amazing Kreskin today. Even now, he knows what we're thinking. Have a great night, everyone, and goodbye.